Am I wrong? Bright Cupcake 88 says. Husband 45 male is in love with a lady 38 female in Thailand and he has left our family home to children about 10 years old to be with her for 2 months overseas. He says to be patient and he'll choose me or her when he comes back. What I can do to save our marriage? I'm 32 female, completely blindsided and am an emotional wreck as I love him still, and it will be hard to raise kids by myself. My kids, what am I going to do? We have a loving relationship until he completely blindsided me by announcing that he is talking to this lady located in Thailand every day for 6 months and has in love with her. She's his soulmate. So right under my notes, I found out that he has been rerouting all of his mail to a box located in a wrap store. He booked a plane ticket and 5-star hotels in Thailand and has left our family to be with her for 2 months. I found out 3 weeks prior to him leaving from a text message from travel website on his phone and confronted him. Then he told me everything. For 3 weeks I tried everything to save our marriage. I begged him to stay. I told him it's dangerous and give us a chance to work on our marriage. Whatever it is that I have done, I can fix. Just give us a chance. I got marriage counselors on Zoom. I even told him I'm willing to pay him $3K to cover the plane ticket if he cancels, or at least postpone it. This is so that it gives us precious time to fix whatever could be wrong with our marriage. He walked out. He said he loves me, but is not in love with me like his is with her. He says to be patient, and when he returns he'll then choose between me or her. It's so unfair. It feels like walking up a mountain trying to reason with someone when their heart isn't with you. So I want hope. Is there any hope for our marriage and what I can do to save our marriage? Has anyone been able to save their marriage after the husband left? He said he will choose between me or her when he comes back, so there's still hope. Too long. Didn't read. Husband 45 male is in love with a lady 38 female in Thailand and he has left our family home to children about 10 years old to be with her for 2 months overseas. He says to be patient and he'll choose me or her when he comes back. Is there any hope for our marriage and what I can do to save our marriage? Such a little joiner says. You need a therapist and a divorce attorney. Your husband is spending the marital assets to spend 2 months in Thailand with a woman he is in love with. And your focus is saving the marriage? No. You need a divorce attorney to immediately find out how to protect yourself financially via divorce before he spends it all on his girlfriend. And you need a therapist to help you to figure out why you feel like you need to save marriage with this loser. Ard3 Vegan says. And you need a therapist to help you to figure out why you feel like you need to save marriage with this loser. Right? I had to read this multiple times because my brain doesn't want to accept it. Scorp 128 says. Op is wrong, alright. Why would anyone want to do this to themselves and allow themselves to be treated like this? Be patient, I'll make a choice when I get back. F that noise. Kids are involved. Does Op really want to set the example that it is okay to abandon one's family, flee the country, and keep mom on the hook until he decides where the greener grass is? Op needs a therapist to untwist her head and locate her self-respect and an attorney to file for divorce. Siad 9057 says. Block all access to your bank accounts, close all joint accounts, don't let him come crawling back when UGF realizes what a loser he is. In fact, kick him out right now. Tell him you need to decide whether you wanna be with someone as dishonest and disrespectful as him. Do you really want your kids to be raised by someone like that? Gypsy Heartwinder says. Your husband is taking a free pass from your marriage for 2 months, funding it with marital assets, and then thinks he gets to choose where he wants to be. Shut the front door. What an ashat. He emotionally checked out of your marriage the second he decided he had the right to do this. You deserve so much better. You deserve love and respect. Cut off his access to your finances and get a lawyer. Accomplished Bat 3380 says. Op needs to transfer a bulk of the money from their joint accounts. I'm not saying cut him off, nor hide it during divorce, but I'm saying protect it from being drained. Melianthesity says, would you want your children to be married to a man like your husband? Someone who will abandon his children and tell his spouse I'll choose between the two of you in 6 months. Someone you have to beg to love you? Someone you have to beg to not cheat on you? If the answer is no, recognize that you have the same value as your children and demand better for your life. Miss Figgy says, would you want your children to be married to a man like your husband? You would be surprised to learn how many mothers in certain parts of the world encourage their daughters to stay with their abusive and/or unfaithful husbands, because divorce and being a single woman, especially with kids, is worse than death. Honestly, based on how Op is approaching this situation, I wonder if she herself comes from a culture that does this. Rushni67 says, there are churches right here in the USA that do the same and blame the woman for the failure of marriages. Desolation Ruins says, WTF. You can't be serious right now. Save what? Why would you want to be with this person? You need to lock down the financials and you need to contact a divorce attorney and a therapist immediately. Buxawabturad says, get a lawyer, pack his stuff, change the locks. When he gets there and realizes he is being scammed, he will come back and say he chose you. Don't listen. You deserve better. PMS says, I'm surprised this isn't a more popular comment. This is definitely a scam. Definitolithia says, I definitely think so. I'm not even buying the fact that there's a woman behind this. Her husband is an idiot who has lost his damn mind over the chance of getting laid in Thailand. 10 to 1 he comes home broke, fleeced out of all their assets, and unstandard from a hooker, hired to be the girl he's expecting. Snowbird60 says, yes, you're wrong. What is it exactly you're trying to save? For the next 2 months he's gonna be spending all the money in your bank accounts having a good time cheating on you with someone else. While you're sitting here worrying about how to get him back. Why are you not pissed off at the fact that he lied to you for months and planned this all behind your back? Why are you so willing to let him turn his back on you and your children? You should be livid right now. You need to get on the phone with a lawyer. You need to lock down all of your bank accounts so that he can't get access to any more money. If he wants to spend money on her, he can use his credit card so that he's responsible for the charges. If you have joint credit cards, take your name off of all of them cards. You need to start separating your finances from him. How is it that he's able to take off work for 2 months to go to Thailand to spend time with this woman in the first place? Am I wrong? Andra Haran says, sex offenders. Hey guys, I need some help on Viewpoint with some very religious family. My ex takes our 4-year-old daughter to her congregation 2 to 3 times/week. I have my daughter the other 4 days. Elders in her congregation recently informed me they have a sex offender that they have not reported. That isn't okay, right? The policy as it was stated to me is they want to inform the parents so the parents can protect their children. When asked why they have not reported him, required by law in Oregon I believe, they said the direction from their headquarters was not to report since they do not have a legal requirement. I believe they do, but legal requirement aside, what about concern for child welfare and that of others in the community? Won't this encourage escalation by the offender and send an awful message to the victim and their family? To be clear, they hold all the facts through a confession from the offender to 3 elders, which was then shared with over a dozen more elders. This was made very clear to us in a way to try and put us at ease, I guess. I'm no lawyer, but is this okay? The odds site says that, while everyone should report, clergy are mandatory reporters. I do not want my daughter raised seeing men in authority not reporting. Thoughts? No Swordfish 5925 says, are these Jehovah Witnesses? Andra Haran says, edit, I would like to keep the religion confidential out of respect for my family who might read this. Actual Person 418 says, unfortunately it is. You need to do what you know is right to protect the children in and around the congregation. Aggressive Jury 7278 says, Jehovah's are a cult. They have systemic issues with sex abuse and grooming within their congregations and have policies promoting a cone of silence and handling matters internally. Your ex may be a good mother, but your responsibility as a fellow father is to your child first. She should absolutely not be around these people. Talk to your lawyer and seek an amended custody order. Samarandam Guhanan says, at the risk of getting down voted horribly for it, I would recommend you take a look at some of the training for the Virtues program that the Catholic Church has implemented in the wake of the scandal. Having taken the program, they do a really good job of explaining what I consider to be best practices for situations like this. Here are some high points. 1. Adults are never alone with the children under any circumstance. 2. No one in the church is above reproach, and if you have a suspicion about a person, you should report it. 3. Everything should always be reported, no matter what you think of a person's integrity or character. The important thing to realize here is that sex offenders can be masterful and manipulating other people. We need to get rid of the idea that sex offender is a creepy guy that drives around in a van or lives in his parents' basement. A lot of sex offenders are some of the most likable, intelligent, and interesting people you've ever met. Those character traits are how they get people to trust them in the first place, to leave their children there, and put them in positions of authority. Lastly, there needs to be a culture of identifying grooming behavior. Most people, especially kids, don't understand what grooming is and how it's done, and so it never gets reported. Specific Yoga 2217 says, not wrong to wonder if this is okay. I recommend reporting it to the police and let them decide what's legal and what's not. Also, and I may get downvoted hard for this, you may wish to find a more suitable house of worship that aligns with your spirituality, but doesn't carry the same stain. Iceman Swagger says, first, is the offender in question a child sex offender? Some dude that did a date rape is not the same as a child molester. Assuming it's a CSO, the ex needs to get her priorities in order. By saying and doing nothing, she's effectively approving of this. She is knowingly and willfully putting the child in danger. Shanabuster says, you should probably contact your lawyer about your ex taking your child around known predators. It's not safe. Especially in a cult like that where they likely think he didn't really do anything wrong. Hot Swimmer 3101 says, even if this was legal, would it be morally right to let this continue? Old Combination 8062 says, the JW have a history of enabling and protecting sex offenders. It's part of their beliefs. They are a cult. They don't care about the victims. I bet you know what you as the father of a child have to do. No Ambassador 9032 says, please as a survivor of CSA and born into that religion, do everything to protect your and other children. Document everything, contact police please, I beg you. They do not protect children, they are only concerned in covering up. The way they treat children and raise them should be considered child abuse. Yahai Amory says, you can teach your daughter very well, but she will get conflicting advice from her mother. The only protection is removal from the sex offender. Please take care of your daughter and ask why. Is your ex okay with this? Anna Leguipan says, I wouldn't trust my child with anyone who thinks they can handle a sex offender via application of their own religious beliefs, especially when they are part of a cult that has documented history of protecting, enabling, and literally being sex offenders. I would prevent at all costs. Up to, and well beyond, compromising the child's relationship with the parent. That is putting them in that situation. A child experiencing SAB is 1,000 times more dangerous to them than a contentious, or even non-existent, relationship with their mother. Don't hold back in any way from protecting your child from something like this. Make demands and ultimatums, and follow through on them without hesitation. When you demand that your child not be involved in that cult anymore, your ex will respond by implying that you are being intolerant of her religion. If she can't involve the child anymore, there will be pressure on her from the other cult members implying that it is her religious duty to fight for involving the child in the cult. That's what you're up against. I recommend legal counsel. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.